Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Catherine Kelly, and I want to bring you a message today about presence and the soul and how immensely important it is as part of our soul's evolution. The human condition is not an easy thing. It's not a pleasant thing. And I jokingly say, I think it does everything possible to misalign us, to take us off of our center and keep us from being present. But the importance of presence cannot be emphasized enough when we are trying to do either our healing work or work on our soul's evolution. So a while back, and I'm not even sure how long ago this was, I came across this concept, this Chinese Taoism concept of it's called Wu Wei. So Wu Wei is this practice within Taoism and the Chinese practice of really just going with the flow. And when I did some reading about this, the whole concept is about allowing things to unfold naturally without a need to control the outcome. And so I think that's a really important concept when we can stay in presence and to link that whole idea of presence so that we can get in that space of allowing things to unfold naturally, but also not getting so wound up in worry or concern about how we control things, because really there's so much free will involved that there's not a lot we can control anyway. And so I want to walk through this idea of Wu Wei and help you see how this really is very much related to our soul's evolution. And I made some notes here, so I'm gonna because I really wanted to emphasize some practices and some things you can do to stay very minded and mindful and grounded as you practice presence. So, presence is really an experience of a moment. Presence is more than basically just being aware of something. It's almost immersing yourself in the moment to expand your awareness and consciousness about what's going on both internally and externally. And this concept of Wu Wei is, to me, a perfect concept and process to follow because it's going with the flow of life. Now, the whole idea of the whole definition of Wu Wei in the Chinese language is basically doing nothing. Now, we can't get anywhere if we do nothing, but really the whole concept that they're trying to emphasize is that there's a nothingness in how we lead our lives that is very important in our practice. So it's the action of inaction. So think about the action of inaction. So in other words, being very present in a moment in many, many different ways so that you can really absorb and embrace your evolution. So I'm going to walk through several things that I jotted down to help you understand kind of how to practice this presence. So the first one, and the very first thing I want to say is it's presence without pushing. Now, those are my words. So it's presence without pushing. So you stay very present without pushing for an outcome. Now, that is how you stay in the moment. That is how you allow your soul's evolution to unfold. And it's basically the soul's path of allowing. And I've talked a lot about allowing in the past. So I've got 7 different points here that I want to make that are going to help you know how to practice presence as far as creating this soul's evolution path to getting in this Wu Wei experience. So the first one is doing nothing. So I have this rule that basically, if you don't know what to do, don't do anything at all, but stay very aware and present of allowing the soul's voice or voice of spirit to come to you and tell you or nudge you in the direction that you need to go. So when you're making a decision, a lot of times we get stressed because we're not making a decision fast enough to what we think our ego thinks we need to do. But being present, practicing Wu Wei by doing nothing means that you allow it to unfold, you allow it to come to you. My other rule of thumb with doing nothing in a situation like that is that if you don't know what to do, either you don't have enough information to know what to do yet, or it's not time to know. It's not time to know so you can act. So number one is basically doing nothing and kind of allowing the soul to reveal the next steps in your life. The second one is basically doing nothing other than what you really want to do. Now, I have another rule of thumb that basically no one should endure for more than 20 seconds. Now, when we endure something, we are putting ourselves in a place of misalignment. We are allowing our souls to be misaligned by enduring. Now, there are some things we have to put up with. temporarily, but it's the awareness of realizing, wow, I am not going to let myself be in this situation again. That really takes us to that next step of learning how to align our lives in the next opportunity. So sometimes we do have to put up with a little bit, but really that 20 seconds is about all it takes for you to understand, wow, I don't want to be doing this. So it's, wow, I don't want to be thinking this. I don't want to be stressed out about this, or I don't want to be with these people, or I don't want to be in the situation. So take that idea of not doing something other than what you want to do as your next form of Wu Wei. Because if you're doing something that you don't want to do, that's not a natural state, because you have to remember that our soul's most natural state is contentment and joy. But if we're enduring something, we are not content and we are not experiencing joy. So that's number two. Number three, do nothing in one spot. And what that means is sometimes we just have to pause, stop, and do nothing. When we tend to, well, let me talk about meditation. So, meditation, oftentimes, what most people struggle with is staying still, remaining quiet, not letting your mind tell you, oh, I need to scratch this itch, or I need to, wow, I need to readjust because I'm uncomfortable. So, it's really learning how to just allow yourself to be in that space of discomfort long enough to become present with it, because almost always when you become present with your discomfort, it dissipates. It's the ego's way of trying to get us to run away from ourselves a lot of times when we attend to the discomfort. So yes, if a hammer just smacked your thumb, you're going to want to move your hand. But it's that whole emotional discomfort piece. Instead of outrunning your soul to try to inform you of what that message, that emotional message is trying to tell you, stay present in that space long enough to see if you can interpret the meaning behind that emotion or that thought. So that's another very, very important part. Because I make note that moving out of discomfort oftentimes is a way of avoiding or dismissing a message from our soul. So we have to really think about that. I also talk about that we outrun our souls all the time by trying to get away from discomfort. And when we outrun our souls, we miss important information. So a lot of times we have to stay very present with our discomfort in order to go, oh, yeah, that's what I need to attend to. So that's number three. Number four is to do nothing for or with others. Now, what I mean with that is that, oftentimes there's a discomfort about being in the presence of someone else because we think we need to entertain them. We think we have to take care of a situation for them. We need to make them comfortable rather than making ourselves comfortable. So learning how to be in the presence of others by not doing anything is a really important way to practice Wu Wei. So allowing things to occur naturally, allowing things to unfold, and basically allowing yourself to be in a discomforting situation if you are with a situation or with someone in a situation that you don't want to be in, because there's a lot to learn about yourself in that Wu Wei situation. When you're able to learn, wow, I really don't enjoy this person's company, or wow, this person's dismissing me or just diminishing me, so I can choose differently next time. And I say with this, we are often compelled to fill time when we are with someone else. And that's whether we fill it with words, we are talking about this or that, whether we are filling it with activities, but just being present with another soul is so nourishing and enriching if you can find a soul or more than one soul to be present with. Number five, commit to doing nothing for a number of days. So what I mean by doing nothing, a lot of people feel very pressured to say yes when something is requested of them. A lot of people feel pressured to please someone else, pressured to take on more than they really want to be taking on, and they get frustrated or resentful later. So Wu Wei is really a nice way to practice that presence of agreeing with yourself that you're going to do nothing for a certain amount of time. Now, a lot of times I'll encourage people to wait 3 days, a week, a month, a year to act, depending on what the situation is and how enormous that life-changing event might be. So if it's someone asks you, hey, do you want to, I don't know, do you want to go to this concert? And you're not quite sure if you want to go, give it 3 days. If someone's trying to get you to take on a project, at least give it 3 days, because sometimes we have to step back enough to know, okay, am I feeling pressured about this? Am I feeling like I need to take this on because I want to please someone? Do I feel like I have to? All those kinds of things, you might need at least those 3 to 7 days to step back and see, is a decision in the direction of doing whatever they're requesting going to align you, or is it going to misalign you? So really just being present in doing nothing for a little while and allowing the answer to come to you can be very, very helpful. Number 6, strive for less, for the whole idea of less is more. So low maintenance living. So I really like simplifying my life. I'm a smarter, not harder kind of person. I try to make sure that I'm not double doing something if I don't have to. And it's that idea of stepping back to do less instead of more. And so getting in the mindset of allowing things to happen naturally is going to instruct you for whether or not agreeing to something is going to align or misalign your life. Number 7 is to watch for fear-based reactions and flow with love instead, because a lot of times we jump in too quickly because it's a fear-based reaction. So we jump in with fear that, oh my gosh, if I don't do this now, this person's going to reject me later. If, wow, I don't say yes now, this opportunity is going to be missed. So watch for those fear-based reactions, because if you are in fact allowing things to happen naturally, your soul is very content, very much at peace. But if you're reacting out of fear, that is ego-based. That is your thought processes. Those are all those fear energies that are still woven into you. So this whole idea of Wu Wei is so beautiful and wonderful in just allowing things to happen naturally. If they're going to happen, they're going to happen. The universe is going to hold you in its loving embrace if you allow yourself to just be in that Wu Wei space, that naturally occurring space as well. So I like to talk about concepts like this because of the fact that, our soul is so complex and yet so simple. And we can learn how to be very simple in the way we live, and we can actually enjoy life much, much more and be much more contented. In other words, aligning with the natural state of our soul in that contentment and joy by allowing things to happen naturally. So it's all about that natural living. It's all about allowing. It's all about going with that flow that is super important when you think about presence in general. So I just wanted to give you some more step-by-step kinds of ideas on how to practice this presence as you are learning not only to heal even more, but also learning how to release anything that is unnatural and allowing yourself to kind of fall into that natural flow of the soul's evolution. I have this thought, and I've had it for decades, that, when something feels very hard or laborious or difficult, that it probably is misaligning us in some way. If something is too difficult, or it feels like you're butting up against something, it usually means you're working against the natural flow of the soul. So this is just another way to nudge yourself to stay alert. Wow, if this is not working out, then there must be a reason I need to back away or back off. So this Wu Wei experience, I think, is something to really think about. This presence is so important in our soul's evolution and our healing. And I just wanted to give you some guidelines for maybe how to practice this for, again, like I said, for your healing and your soul's evolution along the way. Hope this was helpful. I hope you have a wonderful day, and more to come as far as helping you through this lovely human condition. Take care. Bye-bye.